You're on Deck with Lucy. This show is all about the 3 T's of New York. The talent, the trends, and the taste.
She may sound like she's British, but she's really from the Bronx. The accent is a fake. I'm Perez Hilton, and you're on Deck with Lucy.
Hey guys, so we covered the trends. Now it's time to talk about the talent. I got to get on deck with an incredible designer where I got a front row seat at his fashion show. In fact, everyone got a front row seat. How did that happen? Take a look. We are here with the designer, the mastermind behind the whole process, Neodandi. Neodandi, thank you for joining us. What inspired you to create this arena so that we can see the collection that's going to take place?
My idea is based on 12th century Japan, and the idealism that is behind the order of the court, which has to do with using attire to establish your station. You know, so basically what you wear tells me what kind of rank you have, you know? And so taking that idea and turning it inside out in the sense that your inner vision is your outer exhibition, right? So we're taking how a person might feel from inside and bringing it on the outside so they can wear it.
I love that.
You know, so that's the idea. And then the idea of transparency is also very big in this collection.
That is a great mindset there on how we try and incorporate trends. It's through our inner self. What do you hope that people take away from this? Because I know there's such a buzz out there. They're all excited to see your clothes. Right. What do you hope they take away?
Well, I hope that they take away the very idea of human dignity, which is behind what I do. I believe that we as human beings are very beautiful creatures, in that if we can celebrate that every day through the way we appear in public, and through the way we offer ourselves to life, I think will be amazing.
I agree. Now, our show is all about highlighting the 3 T's of New York: talent, trends, and taste. This is obviously a big trend taking place right now. Right. In your opinion, how would you define trend?
That's a good question. Trend, wow. That's a very good question. I think that trend is always tied to spirituality. You know, whether it's coming, whether one is aware of it or not, it comes from inside, right? So it's something that prompts a collective of people or a single individual to come up with something that everybody sort of kind of is in tune with. Then a trend starts, right?
I love it. I'm going to go back to my closet and be like, how is this a trend? How can I get this from the latte into my own clothes?
Well, one of the things that I address is the idea of irregularity in life. You know, irregularity as a pattern that you can use to create regularity. You know, so in the sense that we all have irregular lives, but in that irregular life, there's a pattern. That pattern, you're the center of that pattern.
We're all centers of the pattern. Exactly. I love it. Well, what I like most of all right now is that everyone gets a front row seat. That's unheard of at New York Fashion Week.
Well, that's awesome. That's what I like.
So we don't want to keep them waiting. We're going to get ready for your fashion show. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when we're talking talent, we obviously think about the designers and the models, but sometimes we forget about the brains behind it all. Let's take a look at our interview as we got on deck with Alison Roy Campbell, one of the organizers of NYC Fashion Week.
I close my eyes.
We're at EN Brasserie right now in another private dining room area with the lovely, gorgeous Alison Campbell-Roy, who is a PR agent from AMP3 Public Relations. Alison, thank you so much for joining us today.
Having me.
Now, we were lucky enough to sample the Neodandi Fashion Show, which you organised.
Yes.
How was that different to other events that you organise at your PR agency?
It was a very non-traditional show, and that was the intention of the designer. He really wanted to do something that wasn't just a straightforward catwalk runway show. So that was sort of on us to come up with. And when he started talking about the inspiration of his new collection, we found out that it was 12th century Japan. So instantly we started thinking, okay, you know, we need something Japanese inspired in New York City, and we found this restaurant.
And it's beautiful, and the whole runway show was amazing. Everything was perfect, seamlessly beautiful, and you did such an incredible job.
Thank you.
The life of a PR agent, to me, has always been such a glamorous thing. Is it as glamorous as we think it is? Like, what's your daily life like as a PR agent?
Well, PR is really a lifestyle. I don't really think of what I do as a job, because you kind of have to be accessible to your clients 24/7.
Right.
If there's breaking news, you know, if there's some sort of PR catastrophe, then, you know, you have to be on board if it doesn't fall within, you know, 9 to 5. So it's definitely high-paced. It's busy. I would say the only downfall is that it can be very stressful. But it's also glamorous. You get the fun perks. It's, you know, you're working on a fashion show. You're working with restaurants. You're working with celebrities. So I think the thrill and the adrenaline makes up for a lot of the stress.
And you are definitely a great representation of a glamorous PR agent, so we're very lucky to have you on deck. In your opinion, throughout Fashion Week, you help organize the spring fashion show, the fall fashion show here in New York City. Why is fashion show different to any other fashion week any different to any other city here in America?
I would probably say Fashion Week in New York City is unique because it's really one of the fashion capitals of the world. And what I think is exciting is that it's not just about the designers and the people in the industry. It feels like the whole city really gets involved in Fashion Week, which I think is unique to some of the international cities where, you know, the consumer gets to take part in something like Fashion's Night Out, or maybe some of the fabulous after parties that are happening at the nightclubs around the city. So I feel like everyone kind of puts on their fashion best that week, whether they're in the industry or not. So for that reason, it's really exciting.
Well, this was my first Fashion Week, and I loved it. All of the different events, especially the ones that AMP3 organized, they were amazing. And you'll be able to see more of them here at On Deck. Alison, when it comes to trends, I'm sure that you're you're an expert of these things. What trends did you see throughout Fashion Week, and do you see taking place this year?
I think that black and white was huge on the runway, which is always a good thing. But more so than that, a trend that I've noticed really taking over in New York is that it's not all about the tents. You know, it's not all about Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. That's always the focal point, and certainly still is. But I'm noticing a lot more independent shows crop up around the city. And so that was a lot of fun to see sort of what these, you know, up-and-coming designers are seeing. And they're not necessarily following the same trend stories that everyone in the, you know, the sort of the more corporate side of the industry is following. They're really kind of creating their own takes on what's stylish. So things like Nolce Fashion Week, Small Boutique Fashion Week, Indie Fashion Week. There's all these different things starting to really take place in the city. And I think it's cool. It's like a sort of an incubator for independent fashion designers. So it's almost like we're creating that new generation. And I think it's really exciting.
And I love that, especially for On Deck, because we're really focusing on giving people an opportunity, no matter where they are, talent, trends, or tastes, really highlighting their talent. So that's a great answer there, Alison. Good job. When it comes to taste, and we've got to go because they're setting up here at EN Brasserie, but when it comes to taste, especially during Fashion Week, where should a fashionista be seen tasting in New York?
Well, one of my most favorite restaurants in the city is called Freeman's.
Okay.
And it is cool because you really only know it's there if you know it's there. It's down an obscure alley off of Rivington Street called Freeman's Alley. And you have to walk all the way to the end. And it looks really sketchy and terrifying and like you shouldn't be walking down there in the dark by yourself.
Alison, do we want to go there?
Then when you get to the end, it's this beautiful little cottage. And it's 2 levels. And the food is mostly all locally grown, organic. It's amazing. I love it for the whole experience. The wine list is amazing. The food is amazing. You can kind of go there and spend the whole evening. It's not just a quick meal. And the people watching there is really fantastic. So I go for the people watching.
And that's something we all love to do here in New York because there's so many different people to see. And that was a great sort of suggestion because now you guys watching On Deck, you'll know it's Freeman's, right?
Oh, yeah, it might not be a secret anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But that's okay. We like it. We'll keep it amongst ourselves. Alison, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you later. So we better get some food here now.
Trying to be the savior as a fall behind.
And as she dies, she doesn't know what to say.